This isn't for just anyone! This airline, it's our families.
You know, I still get chills thinking about that day up in the clouds, when a simple flight turned into this wild showdown that exposed some ugly truths about people and prejudices, like one of those stories you hear and think, man, karma really does hit like a thunderbolt sometimes. Picture this. We're cruising at 35,000 feet on a Horizon Flights jet. And there's this flight attendant, Karen Fletcher, who's been in the game for nearly a decade, serving drinks and smiles to the high rollers in first class. But deep down, she's carrying this chip on her shoulder from years of feeling overlooked, passed over for promotions by folks she thinks don't fit the mold. You know, that quiet resentment that builds up when life's not fair and you start blaming the wrong people. And then there are these 3 12-year-old sisters, Mia, Zoe, and Ava Reynolds, sitting there in their crisp little outfits, looking like any other kids heading to a family thing. But oh boy, Karen spots them, 3 black girls in those premium seats, and something just snaps inside her, like all her frustrations zero in on them because, in her twisted head, they represent everything that's wrong with the world taking spots from deserving folks like her. It started subtle at first, or at least she tried to play it that way. Karen saunters over, arms crossed tight like she's guarding a fortress, her face all pinched up in that fake polite disgust, and she leans in close, voice dripping with this condescending honey that's really just venom in disguise. Say, "Excuse me, darlings, but what on earth are 3 little ones like you doing up here in first class? Did you wander off from economy? Or is this some kind of mix-up with your tickets?" The girls, though they don't flinch, not even a bit. Mia, the oldest, just looks up with those steady eyes, calm as a summer lake, and replies softly, "We're here for family business, ma'am, nothing more." But you can see Karen's wheels turning, her inner monologue screaming that these kids couldn't possibly afford this. Must be some charity case or worse, a scam, because in her world, shaped by years of small-town biases and office politics, where she felt edged out by diversity hires, black faces and luxury just don't compute without suspicion. As the plane hums along, Karen doesn't back off, no. She ramps it up, her voice getting louder, sharper, like she's performing for an invisible audience that agrees with her prejudices, demanding their boarding passes with this theatrical flair, holding them up to the light as if they're forged documents from a spy movie. Announcing to the whole cabin, "These look legitimate, but let's make sure first class isn't for just anyone. You know, it requires a certain refinement." And the way she says refinement lands like a slap, heavy with implication, making passengers shift in their seats, some whispering, others pulling out phones, because this isn't just bad service anymore. It's a spectacle of raw, unfiltered bias bubbling up from Karen's core, fueled by her own insecurities about her stagnant career and this nagging fear that the world's changing too fast, leaving her behind. The sisters, though, Mia, Zoe, Ava, they exchange these glances, almost amused in a sad way, like they've seen this dance before, but never quite this unhinged. Zoe whispers just loud enough. She has no clue, does she? And that sets Karen off like a match to dry grass, her face flushing red as she towers over them, spitting out, "Oh, really? Family business. How well, this isn't playtime for kids pretending to be big shots, and I won't have my section turned into a nursery," her words cutting deep. But the girls stay composed, Ava piping up with this quiet wisdom beyond her years. It's funny how assumptions can ruin someone's whole vibe, isn't it? Which only makes Karen explode further, screaming now, "You little know-it-alls, I've slaved away here for 9 years, they need me. This airline would crumble without pros like me keeping order." Meanwhile, in the background, you've got these key folks tuning in. There's Elaine Whitaker, a board member for Horizon Flights, sitting a few rows up, initially distracted by her emails, but now piecing it together, her stomach twisting because she knows the CEO, Marcus Reynolds, and his family from company picnics, though she hasn't clicked yet that these are his girls. And then Alex Chun, this sharp tech blogger in the aisle seat, who's stealthily recording the whole meltdown on his phone, his mind racing with headlines about corporate hypocrisy. Because he's seen enough scandals to know this one's gold racism caught live at cruising altitude. The tension builds like a storm cloud, Karen waving those boarding passes like evidence in a trial, declaring, I'll need to verify these with the captain. Irregularities happen with certain passengers. The racism hanging so thick you could cut it. And the cabin's electric now. Passengers murmuring, some outraged, others filming too, as the girls just sit there, unshaken. Their inner strength shining through because they've been raised by parents who drilled in humility and resilience. Marcus, always saying, character over cash. Girls, let your actions speak. So even in this fire, they're cool, collected, waiting for the moment to turn. And turn it does, bam. Like a plot twist in a blockbuster, Mia stands up slow and steady, her voice clear and firm, locking eyes with Karen as she drops the bomb. You're right about one thing. Words are cheap. But ownership? That's real in this airline. It's our families. The words landing like a mic drop from heaven. The cabin freezing in stunned silence. Jaws dropping. Phones capturing every second as Karen's world shatters. Her face cycling through denial, horror, panic, stammering. No, that's impossibly just kids, lying to save face. But Elaine bolts upright then, the recognition hitting her like a freight train. Oh Lord, Mia, Zoe, Aveyuri Marcus Reynolds' daughters, and it ripples out, passengers connecting the dots, whispering about how Marcus built Horizon from a tiny regional line into a powerhouse, starting as a kid from nothing, fostering that same grit in his girls, who book under their mom's maiden name, Ellis, to avoid the spotlight, learning business the hard way, sitting in on meetings to absorb real-world lessons. Chaos erupts from their Zoes already texted their mom, Dr. Lena Reynolds, this powerhouse pediatrician who's mid-shift at the hospital but drops everything, firing off calls to HQ with that no-nonsense fire. This is Lenami, girls are being targeted on your flight. Get Marcus on the line now before this blows up. And within minutes, the cockpit's buzzing, Captain Morales patching in, his voice booming over the intercom. Attendant Fletcher, report front immediately urgent from base. While Marcus, deep in this brutal boardroom battle against a takeover. Shark trying to gut the company for profit. Gets the alert, his blood boiling as he steps out and broadcasts directly to the plane. This is Marcus Reynolds. COIV just learned my daughters faced unacceptable treatment from one of our own, and I'm proud beyond words at how they've handled it with grace that shames us all. Karen's crumbling now, begging almost. I didn't know, please. I'm sorry, I have bills. A family. But Mia cuts through with quiet steel. You didn't attack us for who we are, you attacked us for what you assumed we were. And that says it all, Zoe adding. You had every chance to choose better, but cruelty won out. And Ava sealing it. Our color didn't change mid-flight, but your hate sure escalated when we didn't break that's on you. The words hanging heavy, passengers nodding. Some applauding softly as Karen slinks away to the galley, relieved of duty on the spot, her 9 years. Evaporating like smoke. The landing's surreal news van swarming the gate because Alex's videos have gone mega viral. Horizon horror, trending with millions sharing the sisters' poise. Turning public outrage into a wave of support that tanks the takeover bid. Investors rallying behind a company that stands for something real. Stock rebounding like a phoenix, while Karen's life unravels fast. Her termination hitting with no severance. No benefits. Her name blacklisted across airlines as HR folks everywhere watch those clips and think, not on our team. Her applications bouncing back from Delta, United, even budget carriers, forcing her into dead-end gigs she sneers at. Her home slipping into foreclosure, friends ghosting because who wants that toxicity? Months later, it's this stark poetry. Mia, Zoe, Ava on magazine covers, not for daddy's money but for their unbreakable spirit. Inspiring talks on resilience. While Karen's scraping by in some fast food joint that won't even hire her once the manager recognizes the face from the scandal, her marriage fraying, nights alone scrolling rejection emails, realizing her resentment wasn't about the girls at all. It was her own demons eating her alive, that fear of irrelevance in a world moving on without her prejudices. And yet, here's the thing that lingers with Med. Karen deserve every bit of that fallout. Or was there a sliver of redemption possible if someone had stepped in sooner, like maybe Elaine or another passenger calling it out right away? It's messy, right? Because prejudice like that doesn't sprout overnight. It's fed by systems that let it fester, but watching those girls rise above, turning hate into a lesson for millions. Man, It makes you wonder about forgiveness versus accountability in our divided world. What do you think? Could Karen have turned it around? Or was her downfall the only justice that fit? Drop your take in the comments. Share if you've seen something similar. And let's chat about how we all handle those hidden biases before they blow up. Subscribe if stories like this fire you up, because there's more where that came from.